Today is Wednesday, April 9th, 2025. Welcome to the Survivor Fans Podcast. I'm Joanne.
And I'm Stacy.
And this is our recap of Survivor 48, Week 7.
This episode's titled Survivor Smack Talk, courtesy of Mr. Jeff Probst. Decided he wanted to take a title this week.
Yep. Well, he liked that a lot, the Smack Talk.
Yes. Previously on Survivor, on day 12, it was time to drop your buffs. Then there was a reward feast where it all came out that Eva's got an idol and Mitch has got a block of vote advantage. A strong alliance was formed, or an alliance of the strong. Charity targeted Say, Eva targets Charity, Charity's out, and Mitch is shocked.
Still kind of was.
Now, I don't know how to say the merge tribe name.
I don't either.
Niu Nai, something like that.
That works for me.
I did read on the Survivor.
It could be nay, like say.
Yeah.
It could be nay, N-A-I.
Yeah, I did read on the Survivor subreddit that it was Mandarin for milk. You know, given the focus on milk, maybe. That was something I suppose Mary came up with.
I thought that tonight when Jeff said that there would be juice. I thought, Jeff.
You missed an opportunity, bud.
Milk.
With the PB&J. Yeah. Okay, we're back at camp after that tribal council, and Mitch just knew it was going to be a 12-1 vote on Say. Instead, his best buddy, his number one, Charity, is gone. And we see Kyle doing a debrief with Mitch, and Kyle says, well, I heard she was targeting me, so I voted for her. And Mitch says that he thought he had to vote for Say again, and that this has definitely contributed to his trust issues.
Well, and that he said it really hurts. Mm-hmm. You know, he was close, and Kyle was like, well, I was told she was saying my name, which is the perfect thing to say.
Yeah.
And
it's good cover, especially for someone who's not on the jury and won't be back.
I was a little bit surprised that Kamilla told him that, well, we were worried that, you know, you and Charity were really tight. And he didn't
was
deny
more
it.
surprised by my inability to recognize Kamilla in the infrared camera. Because for some reason, I was just thinking, who is that woman?
It's like, but who else could it be?
Yeah.
Well, she usually has her hair a little more pulled back from her face. And it's just like with Eva, when she puts her hair down, she looks very different to me. Mm-hmm. And Kamilla does too. So
I think Kamilla normally has her hair down, doesn't she? I think
it's usually pushed back.
The thing that threw me off, Camilla's got the dark under eyes. Her skin is darker right under her eyes. But with the infrared camera, that's not there. You don't see that at all. And I think that's part of what threw me.
Well, and you don't see shades and color so well, so.
And there's that too. Mitch is just adamant that he must go square things with Say, that he needs to talk to her about voting for her twice now. 2 times in a row, he wrote her name down. He starts by telling her, I didn't want to write you. Did Say believe him? Absolutely not. Mitch says, I was advocating for you, and then I voted for you.
Yeah, I don't blame her. You know, I would have gone to the same place. Yeah, right, dude.
Say declares in a confessional after their talk, I will be voting for Mitch. I thought, uh-oh, I don't like that. I don't want Mitch to be a target because Mitch is my new USB. I just couldn't resist cheering for Mitch. I think it would be a miracle if he made it to the end.
Well, and we're both like, I think I have him safe. I
definitely had him safe, yeah.
I did too, once I looked, but I'd forgotten.
Well, my first reaction to what Say said was, no. Do not target my USB. I don't want to lose him this week.
Well, I could have lost mine too, so.
Who else is curious about votes? Well, that would be Cedric. He only got one, but he wants to know who it was.
I liked it that he was trying to determine if it was a male or female handwriting. It's somebody's he hadn't seen before.
Well, it was beautiful handwriting.
Unless they were faking
in cursive.
it.
So that's why it couldn't be Say, to which Say replies in a confessional, it was me.
And
I did it, and I did that on purpose to throw him off.
She's been sitting on that one.
Yep. Although she told him, oh, yeah, it must have been Charity. It was Charity. But who do we know Say to be? Vindictive. Number one. So, yes, she wrote in cursive.
Well,
and she wants Cedric to panic. She says she wants him to feel the heat after what he's put
or to feel what it's like to have your name written down. Because he's written her name.
She's all about even in the score.
And what's his problem? He only got one. She got 5.
Yeah.
Which didn't sit so good with her either. That was kind of scary.
Okay, day 14. This entire episode takes place on day 14. They did pack quite a bit in. 2 tribals, a big record-breaking challenge. It just was full to the brim on day 14. Well, day 14 starts with a beautiful sunrise.
And everybody's saying it's going to be a good day. And it was for us anyway. I don't know how much they really enjoyed it after the beautiful sunrise, but...
Touching base with Mitch again, he tells us in confessional that he knew it was going to be hard on his emotions, and check, it is and has been.
And that he's upset because he was lied to by people that he loves and trusts.
Who's going to repair that love and trust? Why, it's going to be Shauhin. The man with the beautiful beard reaches out to Mitch. He said, let's talk, buddy.
Yep.
And he tells Mitch, I was told not to tell you since you were close with Charity.
My next question would have been, by whom?
Yes. They didn't show us Mitch pushing that at all.
No. But then he talks to Joe.
Yep. He says he's going to put a smile on his face, and he ends up talking to Joe.
Yep. Mitch tells him how he used to be a mailman. And...
that was just after this. He first talks to Joe on the beach.
Yes.
Where he tells us he's going to put a smile on his face and try to make connections with everybody. And Joe asks him, where are you at, Mitch? Where are you at, buddy?
And he said he didn't know that Mitch and
Charity were close.
Charity were besties.
Yeah. And then he kind of got a little heavy-handed with him. He said, my thought process was, well, why does it matter which one goes?
Okay.
Mitch just told you they were close, but okay.
Yeah, I didn't think that was a very smooth move. But
what did you think about his plan? Because he pivoted pretty quick, didn't he?
Who?
Mitch.
Oh, yeah.
We see him talking to Joe and Shauhin at the water, at the well, and he said, okay, I need to make connections. I need to share stories to get personal. And that's when he told him.
He talked about being a mailman.
Yes.
But.
And more importantly, going from mailman Mitch to teacher Mitch because he didn't feel like he was given enough.
Giving enough.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, Shauhin couldn't care less. Joe made an impression on him.
Yeah.
But I also thought
I like Joe's commentary in his confessional.
Okay, what did he say?
Mitch is a great person, and I watch him, and he could win. Who wouldn't vote for Mitch? Conclusion, Mitch is a big threat. It's like, doggone it. I thought he was making some headway there with the mailman Mitch. He just moved the dial in the wrong direction, didn't he? Now he's really on Joe's radar.
Well, Mitch, I think is truly a nice person. I really, really like him. So I'm not surprised that you chose him. I didn't leave Kyle, even though, I went into the episode going, he could go, or I don't know that he can make it to the end, but I just wanted to stick with him. I actually wanted to change to Kamilla, but
yeah,
I figured, but if Eric doesn't make it, she might not.
Yeah, I was really drawn to her too, but it just seems like with them getting ahead of themselves, and Mitch is in this underdog position that I just love to cheer for, and Mitch being, at least what we've been shown, being so solid.
Yeah, and I really admire his challenge abilities and all of that about him. I really like it.
It takes a special combination of people for Mitch to have an opportunity. They have to be willing to play a certain type of game that I understand it's unlikely that he will be allowed to get that close to be a threat for the end. But I just thought I would have so much fun cheering for Mitch.
Yes, I think so too, as long as he's here. And but I really want him to stay. You guys quit picking on Mitch. I want him to stay at least a while longer. I don't think he warrants right out the gate. Come on. Of course, they didn't go after him tonight. They went after the people I wanted them to go after. So okay.
Oh, I don't know. We're not quite there yet, but there was definitely some threats being focused. Yeah, I know. There are no temporal bounds for Joanne. Well, who else is trying to build connections? Who else is in repair mode? That would be Say. She reaches out to Shauhin. She's like, yeah, we got no surface connections. And Shauhin ends up being surprised that she did reach out. So she did make an impression. She made some headway. Yeah. He tells her, I voted for you. And Say immediately replies, yeah, it wasn't personal. So that's great. She just disarmed him, let him off the hook with that. Because it didn't cost her anything to say that. No. We know she's vindictive. We know she'd remember that he had voted for her. Absolutely. And she'd deliver payback at the first opportunity she got. But I don't think said
she impressed him.
Nothing personal. Oh, she did. He said we could have been aligned.
Yeah, we could have met from the beginning.
Yeah, from the drop. Because they could have had an alliance.
She was the kind of person that he would like to go against, but I don't think that would have gone well.
I don't think it would have ended well for him.
No, I don't either.
Yeah, so I don't know that he would have won that exchange. Yeah, she's formidable. Well, and to his credit, his conclusion was she's a danger, and she's in danger.
She could have been formidable. I don't think she was, because she couldn't manage her social skills. I mean, she tried. She obviously had some skills, but she got to fine-tune
Awfully late.
Yeah, that's...
Well, and she's doing the right thing. This was the first big vote where they were together, and she got knocked on her heels, and she is trying to recover.
But it was already kind of too late.
Shauhin's dance card is full. Who's next to do a tango? It's Cedric.
Well, I think he's begin to wonder if his number wasn't up.
Who's that?
Shauhin. At some point.
No, not at this point. He is loving this.
Not at this point.
This is clear evidence to him that he is in control. And he tells us, if I can maintain this degree of control, I will win this game.
Oh, yeah.
Because these three have done the right thing in coming to me, seeking my counsel.
Shauhin.
I started worrying for the charismatic beard there at this point. I was thinking, whoa, this could be your downfall, buddy. You're getting way, way ahead.
And he tells us who the real weak people, the people that are in trouble in this game is Cedric, and Mitch. Mm-hmm. Now, I, of course, was happy to hear Say and Cedric, but Mitch, not so much.
Not so much, that's true. Okay, on to the Immunity Reward Challenge. 12 competitors. It's a classic. They're going to have to hold a handle that's secured by a rope to a bucket. The bucket contains 25% of their pre-game body weight. If they drop it and crack that tile that's under the hanging bucket, a lot of weight.
Yes, 25% of your pre-game, because nobody's at their pre-game weight.
Yeah.
So it's probably more like 50% of their weight.
Yeah, that's why Charlie from season 46 was such a big advocate of hand strength.
Yeah.
And working out, building that hand strength before you go out there for this kind of challenge. Okay, but this one's got a twist. They're going to divide up into the orange team and the purple team. There are 2 immunity necklaces available, and there's going to be 2 vote outs.
Alrighty.
This also comes with a reward back at camp for the winners. The person who lasts the longest, the last one holding a bucket, will win a PB&J DIY kit with chips and juice. Because assembling those sandwiches should be your choice and how much of each condiment that you add.
Oh, yeah. You can count on them adding a lot, especially it was thick bread.
Peanut butter jelly time, peanut butter jelly time. Yeah. What a great reward.
They're talking to me now. I love PB&J. Of course, so do you.
Okay, the last person in each of the teams holding the bucket wins immunity, and then the last person wins the reward for their team. The first team that ends up going to tribal...
The winning team.
The first team that ends up going to tribal council, the person they vote out will not make the jury. The second team that goes to tribal council will be our first on jury. So there was a bonus available. So not only was there a double elimination, 2 vote outs, there's also a bonus if you guess correctly.
We were high-fiving. We actually got the whole shebang. We were like, that doesn't happen.
Nothing waiting here. Okay, so on the orange team, we had Joe, Eva, Star, Mitch, Chrissy, and Say. There's our target, Say, on the orange team. And then the purple team was David, Kyle, Kamilla, Shauhin, and Cedric.
That's who
and
I
Mary.
Left off. David. Yes, I knew I missed somebody. It was
Shauhin,
David.
Cedric, and Mary.
The winner. Okay.
Wow, Cedric. Wow.
Oh, yeah.
Your inability to deliver in any physical element of a challenge. Now, did he just give up?
I just think he didn't want to do it. He knew he couldn't win. Why bother?
Yeah, it's probably that, right?
And then Star I felt like she went, yeah, right. Why bother?
Jeff started at the beginning of the challenge with his little speech. You'll have to dig. Boom. Cedric had dropped. Less than 15 seconds in. It was just seconds into the challenge.
It did annoy Probst.
I think it shocked him a little bit. Yeah.
Well, yeah, that was a Crystal kind of.
Yes.
Remember when she did
in Gabon?
Yeah. It was like, what? She's already dropped? Did she even touch it?
Well, that one challenge with her, they had trouble even starting the challenge.
Yeah.
Because she would fail so quickly they couldn't even get it going. Anyway, Cedric, true to previous form or by choice like you were thinking, he's out quick, and then Star, and then Chrissy, and then Kamilla, and Say, then Mary. Were you going to say something?
Cedric knew from the previous challenge where he couldn't hold on to those ropes. He knew and his hands were probably sore from the few seconds he tried to hold on to the ropes.
Well, and he is a surgeon, so he needs to protect his hands.
Exactly. Well, that's true too.
So I think maybe you shouldn't.
That's his true moneymaker.
You shouldn't play Survivor.
Well,
it's not like we hadn't seen surgeons on there before, and true to form, like previous surgeons, he's pretty bad at the game.
Previous surgeons, huh?
Yeah, there's been other surgeons out there. There was a surgeon in season 1, and he was like plumb dumb. He was the one who voted alphabetically. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
like a special kind of dumb.
Yeah, I remember that. I was like, that's not playing the game.
Full on knucklehead.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll move past him. I didn't want to remember him. Okay.
Yep.
Where were we?
Okay, so Cedric, Star, Chrissy, Kamilla, Say, Mary, all out. So we start our 3 versus 3 showdown. On purple, you got David, Kyle, and Shauhin in there versus Joe, Eva, and Mitch. Eva, the last woman standing.
You know she wanted to beat Joe if she could. But you know he wouldn't be able to even let Eva beat him.
We see Shauhin struggling. Mitch actually does the classic move, the flex, where you wind back up, pull your bucket back up. Sometimes you need to do that. Sometimes you're just doing it to get in somebody else's head. Joe follows Mitch's example. Yeah. He follows Mitch's example, and Joe winds up. Yep. And Shauhin's out. Okay. So you got David versus Kyle on purple, And then still on orange, you got Eva versus Joe versus Mitch. And now Mitch is out.
And
So he's vulnerable.
they've been at it for 15 minutes, these four.
Yes, Eva versus Joe and David versus Kyle, and they end up at it for 15 minutes. Yeah.
Some of the most serious posing David has done, I think.
Yeah, it was definitely.
It looked good. Thanks, David.
He had time on his hands for sure.
It's like, I got nothing to. Yep.
What'd you think of?
Yep, look at these biceps.
Shauhin singing, Owaka, Owaka.
Oh, yeah, that was different.
He was tickling Probst, huh?
Oh, yeah. Well, Probst told him to do it.
Yeah, well, more.
Do more.
Yeah.
He was milking it.
Kyle gets in on it too, body by Jeff, and then get more poses from David. Kyle does a wind back up, and then he says his hands are bleeding.
Oh, Kyle.
Good on Kyle for a little self-deprecating humor. He goes back to the
It's my callus.
a callus.
It's my callus.
Versus when his whole tribe pointed out that he actually had a wart on his finger. But good on him for going there and bringing the fun.
Maybe he removed the warts.
Yeah, maybe. He might have ripped it
That'd
off.
be a tough way to do it, but hey.
Eva slips. Joe gives a pep talk, and then Eva
Don't you quit.
disappoints,
Don't you
and
quit.
she's out.
Why was
Joe
he telling
has
her, "Don't
secured.
you quit"?
I don't know. That doesn't.
like,
it's not going to end well
Joe.
for her. Well, he thought he was doing the good thing and pep talking. So Joe has now secured individual immunity, but he's holding on. He wants to be the winning team and get that food.
But Kyle drops. He's like, yeah, no, I ain't getting in the middle of this.
That's right. Kyle's out. Now it's a showdown. Joe versus David. David versus
Like,
Joe.
no, David's not dropping against Joe. I'm just
I
going to
think David was
step out here.
trying to get in Joe's head a little bit.
Oh,
feeling good.
Definitely
Feeling
was.
good.
He totally did.
But
And
so
started immediately.
You get David talking to Joe, telling him he's feeling good, and then Say and Chrissy for some reason jump in on Joe's behalf to say Joe's good too. Don't you smack talk her, Joe.
Well, we'll smack back at you.
Boom.
Joe won't, but we will.
A new record is set. They exceeded Gabler's
32 minutes.
previous record at 39 minutes.
Didn't last long, Gabler, but it was impressive.
Few seasons, yeah. Chrissy offers some firefighter level pep talk to Joe. We get a grimacing montage, and then David switches gears a little. Instead of talking about how good he's feeling, he talks about what a great guy Joe is. He's really talking him up. What a father. You're the father that I want to be someday. Mad respect, Joe. Mad respect.
Doing it for your kids, blah, blah, blah. He was just punching him up.
And Joe drops. Joe is out. David has...
No, Joe, in response, is going to show him, yeah, and he was going to take it all the way back up to the top, and that was the end of that. He put too much energy into that and probably messed his hands up trying to turn it like that far into it.
Possibly.
And I think that's what did him in. So David, in my opinion, did get in his head, and it worked.
It did. He switched to the compliments, buttered him up, and got him right out of the game. David has now secured food for the purple team.
Who was it that
And they go
said that?
last to tribal council. Whoever they vote out from purple will become
Is
the
on
first
jury.
first member of the jury.
Okay, so who called him The Rock versus Captain America? Who was it that said that? I can't remember. So one of the women.
Yeah, maybe Chrissy. Don't know. Chrissy was the first name that came to mind, but I was thinking, maybe not.
I can't remember. I didn't think it was. I thought it was Mary, or might have been Mary.
Probst
Anyway.
tries to get some deep wisdom out of Joe. He's probing him. What does that mean that you were thinking of your kids? And Joe says, well, I was thinking their names. I was just leaning into it and thinking their names.
Okay, so David wins. You know, people who have the kind of muscles that he has, he and Joe have, don't always do well in those kinds of things, but it must be all that milk that they both drink.
Could be.
Or they worked on they listened to previous survivors and worked on their grip. Now, Joe, that's not surprising since he's a fireman. But
They both look like they do heavy, like they train heavy, and you have to have good grip strength to lift heavy.
And they lift themselves probably. Why can't we talk? Oh, well, we've been doing taxes for 2 days. That's why we can't talk. Okay.
Fuzzed our heads. We learned that the orange team is headed to the old Siva Beach, and then they will head back to camp after that.
They
after
do
tribal
not
council.
like the idea of going back there with no flint, no anything. They can't cook anything to eat.
Mitch
after
tells
this
us
challenge.
Mitch tells us that he is the only one out of the whole group that's missed out on all rewards at this point.
Really?
Okay, back at the Niu Nai at Milk Beach, everybody's thanking David for this wonderful food. Shauhin's celebrating him. You set a record, dude.
Well, I like Mary just putting it right out there. Say won't make the jury. And they're like, you think she's going? She's like, yeah. I think she'll go.
Yeah, she hasn't missed an opportunity to throw some shade.
No.
Say's way.
She's like, that's who I'd vote for, I'm sure, is what she would.
Say more than earned
thinking.
it, for sure, back on old Vula Beach.
And then Kyle says, well, Cedric should go. Mm-hmm. And Cedric was already concerned because he's like, I really don't have any friends here in this group. So he was already concerned.
Yeah, but Kyle's got bigger plans. He does not trust Shauhin. I wonder what the backlash of this is going to be, because it's going to get back to Shauhin, isn't it?
Cedric's gone.
That they were, I mean, Shauhin knew that he was the misdirect, but isn't David going to end up sharing with him how close he actually came to going because of the pivot that happened?
Yeah, I don't know about that. And how many people are going to believe David? I'm not sure from the next on, but anyway.
Okay, we check in over at the old Siva camp. Joe, just like you were saying, he's lamenting there's no flint, there's no pot, there's no machete. But Chrissy tells him there is some food here. Over here at this tree, if you look on the ground, you'll find some almonds. You got to crack them and get them out. And Joe sets to doing that pretty quick. He wants him some almonds to munch on.
I didn't mind him saying Say was on the outs, but like I said, I wasn't happy to hear.
Mitch and Say are on the outs. That's what he said, yeah.
It's like, really? You're comparing them? But
to her credit, Say reaches out to Joe. Do you want to talk or no? Yeah, no.
She's
because
like,
they
I'm
haven't,
the
we
easiest vote
learn.
out here.
Yeah, they haven't talked at all, which is a bad sign.
Yeah.
It's not like she didn't have opportunity.
Well, and then she asked to speak to Eva because she probably hadn't spoken to her either much. And tells her, I'll vote Mitch. He voted for me twice. Mm-hmm. I'll vote with you against Mitch if that's what you want.
But we see Eva telling us that Say is the logically next best choice. She really wants Say to go.
Though she did admit Mitch is a big social threat.
Yep.
And
even Chrissy said that when Chrissy, Mitch,
you know what I really think
talking.
The deciding factor was? That Joe had already said, and Eva concurred, that they did not want her on the jury.
Yeah,
because
we
remember,
were both kind of banking on that, right?
She was targeting Eva last week, wanting her out because of her idol, blah, blah, blah. Why would she want to keep you? Mitch wasn't threatening to vote her out. So that's why I stuck with it. I was like, do I do this? Because I think this was like the 5th time. Now, this is only the 7th episode. I voted for Say like 5 times. But finally it paid off, I guess.
Okay, back to Milk Beach.
Milk Beach.
We see Shauhin and Mary and David talking, and they decide that Shauhin's going to be the smokescreen. That's who they're going to tell Cedric everybody's voting for is Shauhin.
Well,
he's the decoy.
He's got to trust David, though. And
he does. He tells us that he thinks David is being sincere with the whole trust and integrity thing.
I do. I absolutely thought he was. But
meanwhile, Kyle,
Kamilla, not so much.
Yeah, Kyle's tickled. Oh, we got a decoy vote? Maybe we should actually make something out of this.
Yep.
Make hay while the sun is shining.
Like, no, not yet. But they do go talk to Cedric, which was the right thing to do.
Yep.
And say, okay, vote for Shauhin.
He's going to vote for you, Cedric, and then we're going to put 5 on Shauhin.
And then he tells Kamilla, and she adds her 2 cents worth.
The undercover duo that nobody knows about. Is that still the case.
Well, they also, we can lie to David, tell him we think Shauhin has an idol. And she is so good at that. And she just seems so sincere and believable, even when she's lying through her teeth.
Yeah, she did it to Charity.
She's
Just completely
good at
destroyed
it.
Charity. And now she's targeting, per the plan with Kyle, she's targeting Shauhin. So Shauhin held back, evidently, at one point before the tribes merged and on the new shuffle tribes, and she thinks he ended up with an idol. Why
Not only that,
plant that
but
seed?
we think he's wanting to make a big move.
Oh yeah, that was like the icing on the
Oh,
cake.
yeah.
That was the 1-2 punch,
What
right?
is a big move?
Big moves.
David, of course. I'm sure his mind went there because, he would be the biggest move. Hey, forget.
Got in
anything
David's
else.
head.
Yeah, I think it did. So, I think it was good to put it out there. This was a great time to do it. They didn't vote for him, but put the doubt. Even Shauhin seemed really nervous, so I don't think he was sure he wasn't going either. So he'd gotten some vibes about it. And or they were really acting well.
Okay.
And
Bouncing back to the old Siva camp, we see Mitch talking to Say and Chrissy, and he's telling them how sad he is he has no food. And Chrissy lets us in on the fact that apparently Mitch is just kind of all over the place. She certainly doesn't trust Say, and she recognizes Mitch as a great competitor, but she's also telling us that he's struggling a bit here.
Well, but he's good at challenges, which she's not that good for sure. And
What do you think about that exchange between Chrissy and Star? That was interesting,
yeah,
wasn't
that
it?
surprised me a little bit.
Chrissy
That
was saying...
Star was promoting getting rid of the physical threats, because I think of her as a physical threat.
Yeah.
And it's like she doesn't see herself that way at all.
Evidently not. She's like on the same page with Chrissy. That's what Chrissy wants
And I
too.
think she's going to be around a while because we just don't see enough of her.
I did not like when
Yeah.
Chrissy was saying Mitch is strong and therefore he is a threat, because the crosshairs were coming on to Mitch here.
Yeah. Well, I wasn't sure which way Chrissy was going to go,
So you're
'cause-
talking to Say, and they
Yeah.
both agree that neither of them are threats.
Yep, and she's done what she said she would before.
That's
So,
what, yeah, Say believes that Chrissy is a woman of her word, she tells us.
so Chrissy tells Joe and Eva.
Say
I got
thinks it's
Say
Mitch.
thinking it's Mitch. Well, that's when I started to go, oh, wait a minute. She wasn't serious. She still thinks Mitch is dangerous, but she's not trusting Say as much as I thought she was. So
That
she
doggone
was
Chrissy
acting.
is more savvy than I expected.
I
She's playing
know
a
it.
better game than I
Yep.
thought she would.
But good on Mitch that he tells Joe, I want to work with you.
And he's got a plan. He's got action. He can make it happen. He can use his block a vote
Yep.
on Say, which will ensure that she will not have an opportunity to play her shot in the dark.
Yep.
Which that seems like that's done.
Yep.
That deal should be done. That makes it easy peasy, just like that last
And
vote.
they eliminate Mitch's threat
Advantage is
because
gone.
the block a vote is a threat, and he'll get that out of the way and assure that Say goes.
What does Joe tell us in the immediate confessional that comes after that? Mitch is the biggest threat out here.
He moved.
Yeah.
Yep. Well,
Doggone it. Leave
But
Mitch alone.
I know, but this, I think, reduced some of Mitch's threat to them. He no longer has the block a vote, and he doesn't have an alliance. He's a free agent now, so he can go
Maybe,
any
just
which way
maybe,
who
he's going to
wants
have an
me.
opportunity to vote with everybody else.
Yep, that would be nice. But
Third time would be the charm here.
and Say tells us there's a lot of fallen soldiers, but I'm not one of them.
Good on you, Say.
I was like,
Keep swinging.
Well, I do like that she kept fighting. I do like that. But I didn't want her to stay, so I was Night 14, Tribal Council number 1.
Mitch was hoping for just one more day, and now they're at Tribal Council. Yes.
And Jesse, Joe, you and David rushed it. Then he points out again, oh, it's going to be terrible. The vote out will not make the jury.
Yeah, Joe said the end is right there. That's over for somebody. They will not be continuing with us.
Well, and they are still including Star. You know, she doesn't always get questions, but Jeff did ask her, you know, where was everyone's, you know, what did you do at Siva? And she's like, well, we had to see where everyone's head was. Which,
And her big primary question was, is it me? Kept it simple right there.
And Eva was like, well, there's people here I only met a couple days ago.
And that is a big deal. That
It
does
is.
make a difference.
Well, and Chrissy was like, well, we didn't try to hide it. We all knew we were going to talk to everybody out there, so we just got busy doing it. You know, you don't have to, I guess she was trying to like, well, nobody has to be paranoid. We all know we're going to talk to everybody. We're just talking and see what we want to do.
Say pandered to Probst a little bit. She worked a dance in there. We're ready to tango.
I think she's been pandering to Probst all along, but why are they not showing it? She keeps saying, they're not showing all that she was doing.
Oh, you're talking about Chrissy. I was talking about Say.
No, I was talking about Chrissy.
Oh, yes. I was talking about Say in her Ready to Tango.
Oh, well, I ignored that. I didn't hear that. But okay.
Say takes that opportunity to connect to Joe and Eva. Said that she reached out to them today.
Yeah.
And she values the honest and genuine conversations.
Loyal. Honest and loyal. Yes.
That didn't sit well with Chrissy.
Work with you guys. It's like.
Did it?
Yeah.
She said, honest and loyal. I think that's not how this game works. You're not going to win if you focused on honest and loyal.
Well, a lot of people are focused on that, but Chrissy is not one of them.
Nope.
Which maybe
it's good to see. She's got a totally different agenda than the Strong
I believe
Alliance
David's
folks.
really kind of genuine about that, but Chrissy's like, not having
That ain't how it works. She knows.
Not having
She knows what's up.
We need to make moves.
I think Joe tried to diffuse it a little bit. He said, well, we all played differently. But yeah, Chrissy's in there with, you got to make moves.
Yeah.
Joe and David are beasts. I'm the oldest one here. I got to find my way somehow. I'm not going to compete with those guys.
And Mitch reaffirms that, well, sometimes it's smart. It's smart to make a smart move.
Yeah, I think he was just getting his question done so Probst would move on to the next person.
Yeah.
I'm not sure I understood that.
Well, I think he was kind of talking to Joe.
Maybe. He acknowledged the past two tribal councils. He was on the wrong side of the vote.
Keep me.
And he's trying to show them all that they can trust him.
Trust me. I can be loyal with you and whatever.
I think Joe gave him that one. He said, hey, when somebody falls and starts over, it is an opportunity. And you can work with that.
Game changes quickly, and you never know when you might need someone. Which is true. You don't know that Strong Alliance is going to stay together at all.
Right.
And I doubt that it will. But
time to vote.
And woohoo! Say cannot vote. You have been blocked.
Mitch was good on his word there. He delivered. He played his advantage.
Boy, those were quick votes, and tribal councils went pretty quick, didn't they?
Yeah, because they had two.
Yeah.
Had to power through them.
1, 2, 3. Okay, that's enough. Goodbye, Say. Unanimous.
Thanks for the ride, she says.
And she was the easy vote. I mean, come on. Yes. Truthfully.
According to Say, though, she was a threat. It was because she was such a huge threat, which demonstrated it's like the second most effective point at how little you seem to understand the game, given how she played socially and how she burned all her social bridges. There was no one that really wanted to work with her.
Okay, moving on. Tribal Council number 2.
All right. Say did not make the jury, and she's gone. I'm thrilled because while I'm editing the audio, I will now not have to listen to people mispronounce Say's name over and over again as Sai.
That's true. And we've done it too.
Yes.
And we don't have to do it
There are
anymore.
absolutely times in certain
We
seasons
have to
where
stop and think.
we're relieved and happy that person's been voted out because
Just
they're the
'cause
source
we
of
can't
so many
pronounce it, yeah.
mispronunciations. Yeah.
Well, now that Charity, a.k.a. Candace, is gone, that's been easier.
That's
Yeah.
another load
So-
off your shoulders. Yeah.
And Brianna, also known as Bianca, is gone. It's been easier
Now
for
say
me.
1,
Now
2, 3.
say, yeah.
You got it dialed in
Yeah,
now.
so maybe I can pronounce everyone now.
Yeah.
Except, sometimes I call Eva Eve.
Yeah.
But, no, well, at least that's close.
And Kyle gets a lot of
people know.
Kevins.
Why am I calling him Kevin? I don't get it.
Okay, second tribal council there on night 14. Busy at tribal council.
Kamilla says you really want to make sure that people on the jury are cool with you and respect how you play the game. Mm-hmm. So I thought, yeah, because you're playing a lot harder than most people know you are.
Yes.
And I'm sure you do hope that they respect a well-played game.
I like that because Cedric's first response is probably, I don't think you're playing a good game. But she's planting a seed that there's an expectation of that she can later connect dots to.
Well, and I don't know how it helped Shauhin to say, who's on the jury right now I think it's a little early. Mm-hmm. We're still forming alliances.
It's about
now.
the alliances.
Forget the jury.
Figuring
We're
out who you
doing
can count
alliances. But why contradict? Why bother? You can say that at any time.
Cedric liked it. He said, well, I
sure.
agree with Shauhin. Game recognizes game. He invoked a little bit of coach in there. Iron sharpens iron. And I'm here to respect the
Game
great
recognizes game.
great gameplay. Yeah.
Really? Did you recognize you were being played, Cedric? Shauhin wasn't going anywhere? Anyway, Kyle said, well, we all need to be solid. We'll solidify something for the long term. So he played into that.
Yeah, it seemed like he might be giving on a little bit away. Because I thought there might be the possibility they were going to get Shauhin while we were watching this. I wasn't 100%
I think
convinced.
there was a possibility.
Yeah, because Kyle talked about taking down a great player. And you said, the short-term versus the long-term choices. And demonstrate the importance of demonstrating that we can work together.
Yeah, I still think that he thought Cedric was also a dangerous player, not in challenges, but in possibly strategy and likability. People seem to, get along with him, and
I don't know. I didn't hear a lot of people saying that about Cedric the way they were talking about Mitch.
No, not as much. But I think maybe he thought it would be better to keep Shauhin closer for now. But Cedric could have been open to anyone. Mm-hmm. But, they do have that in place, and Shauhin is looking to, solidify that alliance. So
I think Kyle and Kamilla just about made a mistake, and they pulled back because it would have been so hard to explain everything. And eventually they would have to explain because Shauhin would out them at a final tribal council. Well,
And
David catches a question and he makes it about me.
Well, and he
What was it
still
like having
thinks-
that necklace? Oh, well, I was basically running the shots, calling the whole thing. And this is all about respect. That's what I value.
You play with respect.
Yeah.
And you respect others, and it'll be okay. Even when you're voted out. Blah, blah.
Shauhin gave a lesson in managing the stress. He said, if you let the paranoia get you, you might be the one going. So take a deep breath, close your eyes, open them, and get back to work.
Yeah, and if you panic, that might be the reason you get voted out. So that was probably what he was telling himself. Don't give in to the panic. Don't let them see that you're feeling a little panic and paranoia here.
I really liked how Mary answered Prope's trust fall question because she took it as an opportunity, didn't she? She said, look, these people all did what they said they were going to do
At the last
time.
tribal.
Yeah.
So why not do it again?
Yes.
We did it last time. Everybody did what they said. I did what I said. Let's do it again.
Yeah.
We can do it again.
Probst
It's nothing personal.
didn't let up on her though. He said, "Well, someone's getting blindsided. What do you make of that? How do you explain that to everyone?" She
Nothing
said,
personal.
"Yeah, nothing personal."
It's nothing personal.
Yeah. David seemed to be trying to give Cedric a soft landing with his next statements. He talked about how, hey, a lot of this is just luck of the draw.
And some people, different tribes, haven't gotten
You're right.
to know people as
It's the
much.
classic thing. You have the opportunity to connect, or you've only, like Eva said, you've only had 2 days.
And you haven't had the time to form the alliances before we end up at tribal. So
Shauhin said
it happens.
he gave some inane thing about smoke and mirrors that didn't really.
I didn't even write it down. I was
okay.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay, time to vote. No advantages or idols are played. We get.
Well, they showed us ahead of time. Shauhin voted for Cedric, and Cedric voted for Shauhin.
Right. We get 1 vote for Cedric, 1 vote for Shauhin, and then Cedric is out in the first member of the jury. And Shauhin, well, he's relieved. There is deep relief on his face as he put his head into his hands there. Yeah, that was close.
And Cedric turned to them and said, "Blessings and peace."
Mm-hmm.
It's like, okay.
And he said in his last words, he said he was going to be giving some deep thought to his role on the jury. So he is the mayor of Ponderosa. Ponderosa has begun.
He probably will be good as the person to be there for people to talk to and run things by. And he seems to be calm and level-headed.
Mm-hmm. He'll give him a soft landing, huh?
Yeah, and he'll be all rested up and fed by then and hopefully work through his stuff.
Yeah.
So that he could be at least a good sounding board for people who are coming in behind him. So
that's rough on Say. She doesn't even get to make a Ponderosa visit.
Nope.
She just gets
and it was
shuffled out.
Cedric that got it
They got her spot. Yeah, there you go.
He got my spot.
What did you think overall of this episode? How did it rate?
Oh,
with
it was
the others?
awesome. I love it when it goes so fast like that. When there's that much going on that there just doesn't feel like any downtime. There was barely time to run in and get more cookies.
During the commercials.
During the commercials.
Yeah.
Tax cookies.
Giant chocolate chip cookie. That
Yes,
was good.
last minute. Hurry, bake the cookie.
Yeah, I liked it too. I mean, we got our vote outs, so we maxed out on points this week, got 7.
Yes.
But
Have I ever done that?
I don't know.
I don't usually.
I didn't feel like I had it dialed in. I had a lock on anything because I was sweating some bullets from my boy Mitch. So he's still in it, but I don't know for how long. He could very well be the next one to go.
Too late now.
Yes.
But
well, I made it one round with him.
Could recover if they start splitting up these strong people alliance. Then Mitch could be in a much better spot.
Yes, so. Even though Chrissy did list him as a threat and a target, they might need his vote.
Exactly. She might need him.
Well, and then the other side of things is that they're going to finally be in the big group again voting.
Yes.
This was a bit of a detour.
Yep.
So this could have gone in a really weird way, right? It could have ended up being Mitch voted out and Shauhin voted out.
Yeah.
Because they were at risk. So, but instead, it's getting rid of the last of the. Well, not completely. Mary's still there, but Vula has only got one person left. Yeah.
I think Mary's been very entertaining.
Absolutely.
And she's just so, they had that extra clip of her doing the sewing for everybody. They had a sewing kit or something, and she was sewing up everybody's
came with the merge flag,
whatever.
And paints and stuff that they had, yeah.
Mitch had ripped his long pants, and she's like, okay.
I got you. Yep.
She was like, I'm here from 8 to 5. And she keeps them laughing.
She does. And again, that was such smart play in tribal council. Just a reaffirmation.
Yes,
we work together. I'm banking on us working together again. I like that we can work together. Yeah.
These people all did what they said they would last week. So
that's what I intend to do.
And we can do it again.
Yeah. Yeah, she's way under the radar now.
Yeah,
She gets
is.
to hide, I think.
Though, and I think that she's able to influence people, but so subtly they don't even realize that she's intentionally doing it.
Yeah.
It's just like, oh, she's just talking. It's just more conversation.
She's also a wild card, though. I can't really tell which way she's going to go. I don't get a sense of if she's figured out what her best play is yet.
I think her best play is she's leaving the doors open. Mm-hmm. And she can go wherever the wind is blowing.
Yeah, she seems like the one most likely
Right
to
now.
undermine an alliance.
Could be. I think we're about to see things start to shake up now that, like you said, they're down to what are they down to 10 now?
Yes.
Right?
2 out from 12.
Yeah. They're down to 10 now. Mm-hmm. So that's certainly a bigger group, and I think they're going to go into individual immunity. So only one person's going to be safe, I think, in the
Right.
future tribal councils. And I expect, because there's only one idol out there and Eva's got it, I do kind of expect we'll probably see another one coming up.
Yeah, we did see Mitch hunting. They didn't show him finding anything, but he was looking while he was back there at that old Siva beach.
But I like that there haven't been a ton of them. Mm-hmm. I do. I like that it's not,
Less is more seems to be the theme that we enjoy. Yeah.
And that they've been used more strategically this season, I believe.
Yeah, it was a really nice move to take her opportunity to play her shot in the dark.
Yes. And to get him out from under, make him that little bit less of a threat by getting rid of that block of vote.
Yeah.
And making sure.
Making it easy for everyone to make that vote to get rid of Say.
Yes. Because he knew for sure she'd vote for him. Why wouldn't she vote for him if she could vote? So, yeah, I think that was a good move on his part.
Next time on Survivor, we see Joe talking to Kyle, and he's telling Kyle David is losing his mind. It's going to cause a rift between all of us. What is that about, you think?
I don't know.
We see Kyle asking David, hey, what the blank is going on? So David seems to be the focus of a lot of turmoil in the next episode.
Well, and Chrissy's telling Kyle, we need to go for the head, man. I don't think he meant head man. She meant we need to go for the head,
and
man.
then, go for Joe, she said.
Go for Joe. So she's calling him, he's the head.
Yeah.
So, let's take the head of the snake.
Joe, back to Joe and Kyle. Joe says, you know what? Just blank this. He's not having it.
Well, I think he's still trying to play with honor and integrity. And Chrissy's just, that annoys her. Mm-hmm. Just the thought of that. This is Survivor. You don't play with honor and integrity.
Bunch of jugheads.
But I don't think, I think David and Joe and even Eva are kind of all in there together with that.
Yeah, taking the high moral ground, and it does not work.
Chrissy, you might want to, dial it back.
Well, she just got to get enough votes to go for
Or
them.
get enough people to go there with her.
Did not expect to see Killer Chrissy making a move this big, this fast.
Yeah, and I really don't know where Star is at. I really don't.
We didn't get anything from her in the next on. So we see Kyle talking to Kamilla and saying, hey, David's trying to flip it onto you.
Well, then they're going to need to protect her.
Camilla's not having it.
Kyle
She's
is.
saying in a confessional, this guy is the biggest idiot on the beach. And they cut to David walking through the jungle and then have her saying that. So you think that she's saying that about David. It could actually be about someone else, but yeah. And then we see David talking to Kyle and saying, that is the move.
That is the move.
We don't know what that is, but
Nope.
it is connected sequentially with Kyle telling Kamilla that David is trying to flip it onto you.
Yeah, you can assume that because he said that to her, but it could be something Totally unrelated.
So question, do you think the Strong Alliance is going to make it through the next episode? Are they going to remain intact?
There is no way to know because they were trying to throw Shauhin under the bus, saying that he was going to be in trouble this week. And he was kind of, but not really,
It was
maybe.
the decoy, so they had cover, but I got to think that
Nobody
that
wants to
David,
be a decoy.
Yeah, absolutely not. But he did it.
easy.
He put his trust in him. He took that deep breath, closed his eyes, and then got on with his game.
And stopped panicking
Yeah.
while he pretended he wasn't really panicking.
I got to think a little more about it, but I don't think the Strong Alliance is going to make it another round. Unless that's all red herrings.
Go by the wayside at some point because Kyle really isn't on board with that.
Right.
He's just pretending anyway.
And if David gets all erratic on him, and so I don't know how, but they got to get Chrissy and Mitch and Mary on board.
Well, Mary's kind of fond of David a little bit, seems like.
Yeah.
Might even have a little crush on him.
Don't know that she wouldn't tell him then.
Or it could just be strategy.
Yeah.
So she might see him as a protector.
The Strong Five just need one more for a majority, and they've got the vote locked up.
Yeah. Let's see. If the strong people, they're calling themselves David, Joe, Eva, Kyle, and Shauhin.
Mm-hmm.
And Star's calling them the strong people. She
wants to target.
In there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, at least in that conversation with Chrissy. So maybe Mitch and Star, Kamilla, Kyle, Chrissy, and Mary, there's your 6. Maybe they go after them. That's a lot of work. Curious to see that play out.
Well, the thing is if they divide under those lines, how are Kyle and Kamilla going to protect each other? Because she's not considered in the strong group, and he's not.
Not that we know.
He is considered.
Yeah, but he would be going against it in that scenario.
Yes,
which he's already pledged to do.
But would he have enough support otherwise?
Well, that's why I was counting them out. That
Or
would be
would
6,
they
right?
Still,
If you get Mitch, Star, Kamilla, Kyle, Chrissy, and Mary, that's your 6.
yeah, but you're not counting Kyle out.
No, I'm saying he would be the majority 6 that would then they would be able to pick off one of the strong.
But then,
Because he's not really part of the Strong Alliance.
Why wouldn't they vote him off 6th?
Kyle?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know.
He is strong, and he could win.
Well, you got other
challenges.
strong
And if
targets, but that you would go for
I'm
before
talking
him.
about when they get to the 6th.
Oh, yeah.
If they voted David off, they voted Joe off, they voted Eva, they voted Shauhin, then Kyle's next. If you're going that route, and then Mitch.
Yeah, it would probably depend on what Kamilla would come up with. If she stayed loyal, then she could put something else together. But you're right, he could just fall right on through.
Well, yeah, at least till they get the numbers where they want them, But if they target one of them, somebody targets Kyle or her, they're going to have to make some choices.
Yeah, well, that's why they got to move if that's really the case. As long as it's not. You know what I really don't want it to be? I want them to stick together because I want to see what all they can do. But that would be exactly the way that Kyle could get her, that he could get Kamilla. That would be the right thing to tell her. Hey, David's targeting you.
Yep.
Because that would get her to focus on something that may not be true.
To get her to do what he wants.
Yeah.
Well, she does the same kind of lying, so.
Yeah, they're both super good at it.
Yeah.
I just don't want them to turn that
each other.
Focus on each other,
Yeah.
at least not yet.
Not yet. They probably will need to at some point. Why would either one of them want to go up against the other? I don't know. My money's almost on Kamilla in that regard.
It's
even
almost
though
more.
He's my USB.
Yeah, it's almost more impressive if she gets there and does it because she didn't have all the resources that.
But I think
does.
she's more talented in that way than he is.
Maybe.
But he keeps, I don't
know. They seem
that he can hang.
They seem to riff off each other really well. So.
Yeah. So anyway.
Certainly wouldn't count him out. Hey, we don't have a JSFL update this week because the scoring's complex. Steve's got to run that independently. So
yeah, I can't do that.
We'll do the JSFL update on Saturday in the listener feedback show. Is there anything else you want to say about this episode?
I don't think so. I think we've covered it.
Well, we're looking forward to hearing what you thought about it. You got our recap. We got all the broad strokes in there and what we thought about the results and how it all played out. But we're looking forward to hearing from you. The voicemail line's 206-350-1547, toll free 844-643-8737. You can always record your own audio and send it in. If you're not comfortable with the audio, you can send an email to Joanne and Stacy Show at gmail.com, and either Joanne or I will read it into the show on your behalf. We've been having fantastic listener feedback shows. That's because it's a great season and we're enjoying the events and everybody's getting in, and we're having people come in and share insights from different perspectives from their walk on life. And it's, it's fun. We'd love to have you participate. That's where I am. Feedback's due noon Eastern time on Saturday. We ask that you keep your feedback in that 3-minute range. Looking forward to hearing your assessment of how the Castaways gameplay has changed this week. Who impressed you the most? Who do you think's playing the best? And who's in danger of leaving next? What did you make of that next time on Survivor?
Not much.
Do you think my USB Mitch?
Mitch.
Yours is Kyle.
Mine's
Do you think
Kyle.
my new USB Mitch will make it long in the game? Because I'm concerned.
Want him to. I really do.
Yes.
It's not looking good for him this week.
I'm looking forward to hearing who people chose for their new USB or if they switch, things like that, too.
Yeah, because it's tough if you're USB 24 bonus points. It's hard to get
I would have made
up.
the same decision you did with Kyle.
Yeah.
I would have held on.
I thought about it, though. I did think about, after I said I wouldn't, I did think about it last minute. Thinking, man, I just don't know if he can really get there.
But he's playing so well.
But I thought, okay, just let it go.
Yes.
Have other
Give in
more
to the sunk
important
cost
things
fallacy.
to think about. So I just let it go and thought, just stop thinking about it.
Yes.
And let it ride.
Yes, we're looking forward to hearing how you made your decisions and what do you think about how the season is progressing. Anything else?
And top points tonight, 7 points available.
Okay.
Yes.
Anything else?
Nope.
All right. Have a good one.